Hi everyone, Lady Amalthea here with something a bit different. So, I've just finished watching Atlas of the Heart, a 5-part documentary series by Brené Brown. She's an author and researcher you might have heard of, best known for her work on shame and vulnerability. She's done other videos before as well. I'd previously read one of her books, Daring Greatly, back in 2016. So I gave it 2 stars according to my Goodreads, and my review was some great ideas, but I found the execution awkward to read. So obviously not my favourite author, but she stuck around. Oh, my hat! And I keep coming back across her work. Now, what made me kind of take another look at her was the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And in that, she discusses how Brown thinks herself more of a speaker than a writer, and that when it's time for her to write her books, she gets some friends in a cabin and she tells them her ideas, and they take notes on what she says, and then she frantically goes away and turns those notes into her book. So writing, the actual art of writing her ideas onto paper is a struggle for her, which I can relate to, whereas she can speak quite eloquently. Mind you, in the show I just watched, she does talk about how nervous she was to do the presentation, so it's not like she's not without her own worries. The idea of the show, which is based on the book of the same name, well, with the longer subtitle of Mapping Meaningful Connection and the Language of Human Experience, although I'm not sure what came first, so it's all about what our emotions truly are and how best to approach them. So one of the examples might have been in the last episode, realizing that when you say you're jealous of a friend's holiday, you're actually envious of them because you also want to enjoy that thing, not take away that enjoyment, unless you're just an asshole. But that's a whole other thing. Brené Brown is not without her criticisms. She's a bit girl boss and very heteronormative for my taste. I did recently watch an interesting video essay critique, which I will link below in the description box, which goes over these points very succinctly. Certainly with more research than I would be putting into a video, that's for sure. Now, someone whose children are dogs, and I mean literal dogs over there, I am not insulting human children here. I have a different worldview to someone for whom motherhood is a large part of their journey. I'm also a queer, trans, non-binary, polyamorous person. I'm neurodiverse, I'm disabled, I don't work because of disability. So I have a very different experience of life to someone like Brown, let alone the whole being a card-slinging witch thing. Now, Brown talks about shame a lot, wanting us to examine how it makes us feel and how to take a healthy approach to it. There's certainly a lot more understanding of emotions these days than we've ever had before, which is very interesting based on what one of the speakers in the documentary said about how we're more disconnected from ourselves than ever before. So it's like maybe distance from our emotions has allowed us to understand them more, except I'm not convinced about that. You really need to sit in something to understand it. I'm sure there's reasons I'm not equipped to explain that make more sense. So Brown showed a lot of clips from film and television, from things like Steel Magnolias to Ted Lasso, to quickly illustrate the emotions that were being discussed. It was filmed in front of a live audience, and there was some audience participation. She would ask them questions, brought a few audience members forward, one of them being one of her research assistants, who did some little reenactments with her to show how not to behave when someone needs empathy, which was a pretty cute example. I wonder if they got paid to be there or had to pay to be there. I have no idea how these things work. I don't particularly care, so I have no intention of looking it up. Sure, there's an air of the self-help guru to Brown, but she does actually research her work, so there's definitely merit to it. I do feel like it could be a helpful thing to watch to understand navigating emotions better. No substitute for therapy though, but maybe a good extracurricular activity for when you want some self-reflection. I'm not sure the point I'm trying to make with this video. I just wanted to talk about something I found interesting. I did overall enjoy it. Definitely found it easier than reading that book of hers I read. I do think she's a great speaker. I've done a lot of hard work over the years And I think I'm getting to a place where I can better handle my emotions and my response to them. So I do think it was worth watching. I was organising my earrings and makeup while I watched, well, mostly listened. Bizarrely, the second episode, which I watched on Foxtel/binge, didn't have subtitles, so that was weird when all the other ones did. Overall, I do feel mentally and emotionally that I'm doing okay these days. I did have an off day the other day, but that was more largely connected to immense physical pain as I've had to miss a few recent medical treatments due to COVID or not COVID. We're not actually sure if I had COVID or not. And I do attribute it to all the reading and the therapy and the whatnot that I've been doing. Hopefully I can continue and get to an even better place. Thank you for watching. Until next time, many blessings.